Hi everyone, welcome to our channel Metaphysical Awakening. I'm Aya and I work alongside my mom, Hitomi. We give consultations together and also offer free energy healing sessions once a month. You can look for those dates on our website, metaphysicalawakening.com, or on our Instagram page, meta_awakening. There we'll keep you up to date on what we got going. We started, doing what we do simply because we enjoy it, and we hope you feel that kind of vibe from us, energetically speaking. Now, this channel is not for everyone, we know, but we would like to share the information to those who take interest in such matter, because we find it to be important in the sense that it helps us realize more about, our true selves, spiritually speaking. We know for those who are new to this channel, you may be wondering why we talk of such matter if there's no substantial proof to any of this. Well, what if it is true that there's something more to life than just, what we're physically doing in our day-to-day life? Or what if these occurrences that, take place in our life are not just coincidences? Or what do these people, speak of when they have a near-death experience? Or what of these, stories about ghosts who inhabit places where people live? Or what of, natural phenomenons that we currently don't have explanations for? And I say natural phenomenons, not supernatural, because they may be beyond our intellect at the moment, but explanations will come in time once we catch up intellectually, at least enough to understand them. You see, there's an explanation for everything, right? It's just the way the world works. It's the only way creation works. There's a basis for everything. We just got to understand the basis to eventually, get to the result of things. But anyway, without substantial proof, it's hard to gather enough information to explain it fully. Therefore, we're working with what we got. Experiences that we've had and observations we've made. Nothing more. The only confirmations we've received, are those related to our consultations and interactions with people that we've met along the way and talked to, cases when we fell into situations and they were later confirmed by the individuals involved. All of these things just kind of build up. We don't have answers for everything, which I believe is, impossible. Anyway, there's just too much out there, and our brain can only handle a little of what's out there. But what I find is that we can handle more information than we're currently dealing with. We can do more. We're talking about using our abilities when it comes to the world of the metaphysical, and we can do a lot more in this area. It's as if our mind branches out further, reaching out further, expanding to new areas of our mind that we've never touched before. Interacting this way, metaphysically, opens up a new form of communication that activates parts of us that may seem foreign at first, but eventually becomes natural to us. It's as if this is a second form of communication that takes place as we're doing our daily routines in life. This form of practice or communication enriches our life and makes us think about life in a new way. It's like resetting your mind in a way, because you need to incorporate this new form of communication. Thereby, your views on life becomes enhanced. Your life starts to run smoother. Understanding comes to you more easily, and you start going with the flow. You adjust to life more easily, and many adjustments are needed now for the coming future. Now, what do I mean by communication? Well, there are different ways metaphysically, but one I will focus on today is communicating with spirits, because they're all around us. Now, A seance takes place when, you have a group of people who wants to contact the spirit or spirits through a medium who could hear them and therefore, communicates with them. Therefore, the medium is like, a mouthpiece for spirits. Now, is it necessary to have some kind of ritual in place or, darken the room to create a more hospitable, environment for spirits? Of course not. But it certainly excites the people who are there to receive, whatever messages that they're there to receive. It's sort of like, a carnival act where you have to impress the audience by, putting on flares, whether it's through the exaggerated movements that you make or the way that you make your voice sound, the rise and fall of it, during your act. The mood of the room is dependent upon the way the medium speaks, acts, and behaves. So if you attend such a thing and this is what you witness, just know it's all an act to hold your attention. And I'm not saying that they can't hear spirits. They most likely can if they're bold enough to hold a seance. Now, what goes on in a seance, or whatever it may be called nowadays? Well, spirits usually line up to have their say, whether it's, the spirits who once lived there in that house or wherever it's held, or others who may want to take part in it. That means there could be many as there could just be, a few. It depends. It depends on, where it's held. It depends on the number of people who attend. It depends on the medium themselves. It depends on, a variety of things. Does that matter? Well, yes, it does. Usually, if there are many involved, you'll likely have more activity. Less, well, it depends, because less could mean that there's, not much activity going on in that place, or the people involved may not interest many spirits to get involved themselves. I've been around individuals where there's very little activity going on around them, or it could be, a controlled environment in such that, a field or a bubble, let's say, surrounds them in an area that they're in, and perhaps they are, made to focus on one thing. The field or bubble created around them traps them in a sense, to keep their focus on such matter, but it also keeps others out in order to not ruin the experience, not ruin the environment that they're in. I've seen it around me at times during consultations and around others giving or doing something special, or spiritual, I should say. It's as if, it's a protective space that's created. So, less distractions, the better. Now, why would one do that, one may ask? Well, it ultimately depends on the outside environment around them. There may be a lot going on in respects to spirits. If there's a lot of activity going on because of its history, for example, well then they're kept out in order to protect the environment created by the seance. This creates an environment for the medium to easily access the information that they need to hold that seance. It can be quite impossible and frustrating when people are coming and going, creating a complete disaster for a proper seance where information can take form in a way to make complete sense. Think of it this way. You're in a room full of people and you're blindfolded. You cannot see anyone, but you can hear them and they're all speaking at the same time, or each of them are, forming a group and holding a conversation of their own, but you can hear them too. Well, anyway, you try to focus on one person, but it's difficult to tell the difference among them. So you're scanning through the crowd, trying to zero in on that one person. It can be hard and frustrating at times. Plus, that one person may not want to talk much or is holding something back, and you can feel that and hear that from the way they talk. So yeah, it can be really bothersome. Well, anyways, it's a whole lot easier when there are just a few people in the room with you. the flow of communication during the seance is a lot better. You're able to move freely in a way where any question will be answered as a matter of fact, and you can progressively move forward onto another question, thereby, maneuvering through the seance in a smoother manner. If that weren't the case, then a seance, can be disastrous, and there's no point in asking further questions. So you just kind of like let it go. For those who practice that, may be able to relate. Well, now let's move on to what it's like for the people involved. Usually a medium can see enough to tell the person that a spirit is, right next to them, right in front of them, behind them, touching their arm, their shoulder, and more. If not, they may be able to feel that the spirit is around, or may sense them around by hearing their voices. We're all different, you see. Many times that person, the person they're speaking to may feel a chill up their arm, their back, feeling like a tingling type of sensation, or feel a difference in the temperature, and so on. So these are physical manifestations that they'll feel, which are effects from being near the spirit. We're all made up of energetic vibrations that we pick up from each other, including spirits. The spirit just wants them to know that, they're there. That's all, because that's usually all that's needed to get them to believe. You may also have emotional reactions such as sadness, especially if it's a family member who had passed away and, has or carries this heavy guilt of, leaving that person behind, or for other reasons. Anger may be felt if their story is a bad one, or happiness and excitement. Some even call it bliss if that's what they want them to feel. Compassion or nurturing type of feelings may come up, also depending on who it's coming from. So you see, emotions may appear also when holding a seance. The physical sensations and emotional reactions to the ones around us are all forms of communications. Don't forget that. For those who are skeptics, well, good. In a way, you should be. Don't walk into any part of this field willing to believe everything you hear. You do that and you'll be lost. Not everything you hear is without merit, but be wise as to what you consume. Go by your gut feeling, and don't worry if you don't understand it. Whatever happened, and just let it be. At one point in your life, you'll be able to connect the dots. So that's basically all I wanted to say in regards to that. All I can go on is based on, my own understanding coming from my experiences, nothing more. So goes the same for everyone else living their day-to-day life. Well, now let's move on to the medium. Now, a medium is defined as an individual who can speak and listen to spirits. They are like an intermediary between, spirits and the person who can't hear them. So they basically relay messages or information from, one to another. So that makes them a messenger in a way, a messenger who takes a message from an individual and passes it on to another. So it's really hard to take credit for anything when you simply feel that's, all you're doing. But it takes skills and practice to get better and better at it, because we have to deal with all kinds of environment when doing so. Some are better than others for many different reasons. One being that they, may listen more closely to the spirits around them and quickly assess and puzzle out what's going on, in the sense that they're better at accessing information from the right spirits. There are some spirits who like to play games and take you off course. So we have to be careful about who is who, essentially. But there are many, other reasons why one is better at doing this than another. It's like if you're practicing an instrument, you get better at it, of course. But there are some who will excel more than others because of their essential talents that they have, such as, a good ear for tunes, or flexibility of their fingers, or quickness of their feet, if they're playing drums, the flick of the wrist, good coordination, and so on. Each person is different in regards to their talents. But anyway, it's the same with this type of work. Perhaps the medium has more patience than another, an asset that can be quite invaluable when doing a seance or a reading. Perhaps the medium is better at piecing the puzzle together as to create a better understanding of the situation around them, or the situation that they're looking into, they're asking about. Perhaps the medium has a better, better intuition about things, and therefore the session moves, rapidly forward with a lot of information and a deep understanding of what's going on. You see, there are many different assets that can be essential for a successful seance. That's why, one may be better skilled than another. Well, what are the voices like when one hears spirits? Well, I can only go by my experience. I don't want to speak for all psychics or mediums. I myself, I don't call myself a medium or a psychic. I call myself, a metaphysical practitioner, because it's what I practice, and I feel, that this activity falls under the metaphysical anyway. It's beyond the physical. One may also call themselves, clairaudient too, which is, someone who hears what's inaudible. But anyway, for me, it sounds as a whisper in the back of my head, but at times I hear them on my left side, my right, in front of me, above me, depending on where they are and who they are also. At times it's as if they're far away, like their voice is faint, but I feel them there. It's hard to describe, but I listen and recount the story or whatever information they want me to pass on. Again, I'm only a messenger, nothing more when it comes to this. It's no different. It's really no different from a friend telling you one thing and you tell another friend exactly what, he or she said. Nothing more than that, except perhaps at a higher, frequency. Yeah, the higher the frequency, the clearer it sounds to me. Everything has wavelengths or frequencies. Our voices carry different frequencies when we're speaking. Speaking at a higher frequency, for us may sound screechy to some and perhaps annoying, but this is different. This is higher than that. It's so high that it's inaudible to some. And I say some because at one time in your life you've heard it. That sound that reverberates, throughout your whole body, which gives you like a tingling sensation. They can come as a sensation as such as that, or as words to some. You may have heard a song or melody playing in your head that reminds you of, a friend or a family member who had passed on, and perhaps they're playing, they're around playing that song throughout your mind so that you could think of nothing but that song. Or perhaps you're, sitting down to have, tea, and you tap your fingers on the table, to the beat of the song that takes you back to a moment in time when you had, fun with a family member or a friend who had passed on. Or, even when you're gardening and you're told, don't do that, as you're thinking about trimming the bushes, and you think to yourself, where did that come from? You see, spirits are everywhere. Don't ever think that you're alone. There are loving spirits among us, and at times they remind us that they have never gone. They're just on the other side, that's all. We all essentially, have this ability. It just depends on how well you tune yourself to the people around you who are in spirit form. We just shut ourselves off to them because, we're busy with the normal routines of life, and stress doesn't help at all when trying to pick things up around us. It takes a calm mind to get anywhere on this topic. Remember, like the example of playing an instrument, the more you play, the more you excel at it. Well, that's all for now. We hope you enjoy your day and perhaps take some time thinking back to moments when you had those weird experiences, and think back on what was going on in your life surrounding that event. You may get a wider view of what really was going on around you, at that particular moment. So enjoy that thought, and we hope you have a wonderful day. Take care, everyone. Thanks for coming by. Bye.